This afternoon, a Portage police officer accused of child abuse appears in court. How much his bond is set at?
Plus, a new report ranks cities based on affordable housing. We'll tell you where Madison stands.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon. We begin today with breaking news.
A Portage police officer is on leave, and he's accused of abusing his 6-month-old son. He made his initial appearance in Sauk County Court today. A judge set Cameron Coronado's bond at $10,000. Prosecutors asked for that amount, citing his alleged abusive behavior and questioning his willingness to answer to the charges against him. Those charges are felony child abuse, intentionally causing bodily harm, and misdemeanor disorderly conduct with a domestic abuse modifier. He is scheduled to be back in court for a preliminary hearing on September 3rd.
If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic abuse, there are resources available. You can call the Domestic Abuse Intervention Services 24/7. They have a helpline. If you're not comfortable calling, you can text them at the number on the bottom of your screen.
And let's get a look at your first warn forecast. Meteorologist Jacob Montesano joins us. A lot of people have been waiting for weather like this, Jacob.
Yeah, and tomorrow is going to be kind of a rinse and repeat of today. And today, very similar to yesterday. Looking at the current radar, very dry across southern Wisconsin. And we're certainly not alone when it comes to this drier air. A lot of the Midwest experiencing very dry conditions, and looking at the current temperatures, they are very comfortable as well. Middle to upper 70s for Madison and areas to the west, lower 70s though as you head further east. So throughout the evening, it's going to continue to be very, very nice temperatures in the lower 70s to upper 60s, partly cloudy to mostly clear skies. Overnight might be a little bit cooler than last night, but pretty close to normal for this time of the year. We will be dealing with some more fog again, and taking a look at some of the visibilities that we're going to experience for the morning hours tomorrow. They could drop down to less than a mile, if not a quarter of a mile. So definitely just take it a little bit easy on your way to work or wherever you may head out during the morning tomorrow. And then it's going to clear up for the day with more possible fog for Friday morning, although it doesn't look like it will be quite as bad for Friday. Now, temperatures will warm up a little bit to end the week, but overall still very comfortable. But I'll talk more about some fall-like temperatures that are expected next week. Those details are coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. There is more breaking news today. The city of Madison has a new clerk. Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway appointed Lydia McComas to the role. She previously served as voter engagement division manager with Hennepin County in Minnesota. That county has more than 700,000 active voters, more than twice the size of Madison's population. It comes after the former clerk, Mary Beth Witzel-Bale, was ousted after nearly 200 ballots went uncounted in the November election under her leadership. McComas's first day will be September 29th.
A resolution looking to revoke the license of troubled beagle breeder Ridgeland Farms is moving through the Dane County Board.
Kyle Pozorski is here to share what one member is looking to accomplish with the measure. Kyle?
Yeah, guys, today Supervisor David Betcher spoke with me over the phone, and he tells me constituents of his and those of other board members brought up some concerns that the Blue Mountains breeder is abusing the dogs in their care. Now, if passed, the county resolution would ask the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection to revoke the farm's license and to put the dogs in custodial care during the course of an ongoing investigation. Here's what Betcher had to say about all of it.
This is not about asking that, they be found guilty or that, anything like that. I'm looking at this more as just as if you had Child Protective Services coming in. You would be saying, during the investigation, we're going to put the children into protective services to make sure there's no continuing abuse.
Now, he further emphasized that Ridgeland has the right to remain innocent until proven guilty of the accusations, and continues that the board has a responsibility to care for animals within the entire county. The next step for this resolution is to go through the county's executive committee, which is where it's been referred to. Betcher thinks that it will then move to a full board vote at next month's meeting.
We will continue to follow it. Kyle, thank you. With the U.S. facing a shortage of roughly 4 million homes, many new and future homeowners are looking to build from the ground up.
And according to a new list from Realtor.com, the Madison Metro is a prime spot to do so. Armand Rahman is finding out why. Armand, the Madison area ranked pretty high, is that right?
That's right, Brady and Susan. Not just in the top 10, Madison Metro scored number 6 in the country. That Realtor.com says combines availability, affordability, sustainability, and desirability of new homes. Now, the factors they looked at were new construction share of listings, the percentage difference between the average of flood, fire, air quality, wind, and heat risk factors for new builds compared to existing homes, and how hot the new construction market is. The Madison Metro is also home to some pretty fast-growing cities and the UW, economists say, making it the only Midwest locale in the top 10.
Anything that spurs on economic growth will help the housing market and entice builders to work there and to increase the housing stock. So pro-growth policies and policies that are less restrictive toward building are what we're calling for here. And a lot of these cities, especially these southern cities, have more relaxed zoning regulations.
He adds that while in the Midwest, building new is normally a lot more expensive than buying an existing home, in Madison, the new construction premium is actually pretty low for the region, an 11% difference between existing and new homes. And here on this street in Verona, there are about 6 or 7 new homes that within the last month have been going up already. Tonight at 5, hear from one of those local builders why he says Madison Metro is a great option for buying and building new homes, but more can be done to make it a lot smoother. For now, reporting live in Verona, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
We will see you at 5, Armand. Thank you. Well, here's a sign that the seasons are changing. You only have a few days left to take your kids to the Goodman Pool in Madison. The pool will close for the season on Sunday, August 24th. The city of Madison says the closure is due to limited staffing. Most of the pool's lifeguards are students who need to return to school. If you can't make it out to Goodman before it closes, there are other places to cool down. All of the splash parks remain open daily through September 1st.
Didn't summer just start?
It feels like it, doesn't it?
What happened?
Yeah.
Well, as we get closer to the start of the school year, back to school shopping is well underway.
And Wisconsin lawmakers are proposing a way to make it a little easier with a tax holiday. Our Ellie LaLiberte spoke to parents about if they think it will help.
$144. That's on average how much families spend per child on back to school supplies. That's according to the National Retail Federation. However, for 3 days, this legislation looks to get rid of both local and state sales tax to help out that receipt. The tax holiday would span from the first Friday in August and end the following Sunday. It includes clothes with a cap at $150 per item and school supplies with a cap at $100 per item.
Even for those of us who seek out sales or thrift stores, the costs really can add up and take a toll on our bottom line and our savings.
In Madison, the local and state sales tax on the average $144 spent on supplies is just about $8. But parents say they'd take it.
I mean, every 5.5% is money in our pockets. So I think, yeah, that's a great idea. I think it would help everybody if we had a tax holiday to at least go back to school for.
If this legislation passes, the earliest it could be implemented would be in August of 2026. Reporting in Madison, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Ellie. According to the authors of the legislation, 17 other states have a back-to-school tax relief holiday.
And our back-to-school coverage continues a little later.
Our Michelle Renee Quinn shows us how a local group is trying to help teachers get supplies ahead of the new year.
And a stretch of nice weather has started, but how long will it last? Jacob Montesano shows us in his First Warn forecast.
Plus, reaction from parents of the Camp Mystic flood victims in Texas. What they have to say about a proposed bill on flood safety protocols. That's when we come back. In national news, as West Virginia National Guard troops arrive in D.C., 6 more Republican-led states said they will send troops too. And today, Vice President J.D. Vance, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller visited troops at Union Station. The trio arrived to heckling from some angry residents. A new poll shows the vast majority, 79% of people living in D.C., oppose the federalization of the police. 61% say they feel less safe because of the president's actions.
In national news, people applying to live or work in the U.S. will now face questions about what the Trump administration is calling anti-Americanism. Authorities say that includes an expanded social media check. Immigration officers will look for what they're calling any involvement in anti-American or terrorist organizations or evidence of anti-Semitic activity. Immigration advocates and attorneys say the new rules could deter some people from coming to the U.S. To Wall Street now, the Dow ended the day up 16 points. The Nasdaq is down 142. The S&P 500 is down 16.
More than 750 current and former DHS staffers are calling on Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to, quote, stop spreading inaccurate health information. This follows a shooting earlier this month at the CDC's Atlanta headquarters that killed a police officer. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation reported the shooter expressed anger over the COVID vaccine and wanted to make his feelings known. The plea comes one day after the American Academy of Pediatrics split with the CDC for its choice not to recommend kids get the shot.
Knowing that we are doing what's best for America's children, they are looking to us for clear and confident guidance, and that's what we have provided with these recommendations. And now the additional work of making sure how these vaccines get to every community so that children have access to them is our next work.
The AAP recommends children between 6 and 23 months get the vaccine unless they have a known allergy. All children between 2 and 18 should get a dose if they are at high risk of severe COVID, are residents of long-term care facilities, have never been vaccinated against COVID, and whose family members are at high risk for severe COVID.
Some Texans are begging their lawmakers for changes to camp protocol after this summer's flooding killed 27 children at Camp Mystic and their counselors. Today, parents of those victims testified on proposed changes at the state capitol. Initial recommendations for camp safety include relocating camp structures away from flood zones, standardizing evacuation plans, and having 24/7 emergency alert systems. Legislators heard from several parents, including the mother of a child whose body is still missing.
This legislation cannot bring back our daughters, but it is the beginning of change that must occur so this tragedy never happens again. It is the start of a promise that their lives and their deaths will mean change.
Today's testimony marked the first time parents of Camp Mystic victims spoke to the legislature publicly.
And back in Wisconsin, the Federal Emergency Management Agency will come tomorrow to assess damage from this month's historic floods. Teams will be in Milwaukee to get a look at what the storms from August 9th to the 11th left behind. The weather inundated the city and surrounding neighborhoods, leaving many people without power. If FEMA determines Milwaukee is eligible for federal assistance, the state might request a disaster declaration from the president.
For us, for the next couple of days, some of the nicest weather of the summer is on the way. Here's Jacob with the forecast.
Thanks, Susan. And then next week, we're going to see some of the coolest air since late May. So it's going to be kind of our first taste of fall. Now, if we look at the three things you need to know, we are going to see some foggy mornings the next couple of nights and into the morning hours. Excuse me. And then we do have a chance of rain for Friday night, very small chance, and it's mostly going to occur during the overnight hours. Now, looking at that rain chance, until then, pretty much no chance of rain, maybe an isolated shower for some areas, but overall remaining very dry. And most of Friday will remain dry as well. Like I mentioned, that rain is going to move into our area during the overnight hours and then mostly clear out by Saturday morning. And then Saturday will feature plenty of sunshine. So again, for the most part, not really going to see too impactful of rainfall, and it's not expected to be severe nor produce rainfall at that heavy of a rate. And overall, looking at the 7-day precipitation outlook, it's really just Friday night. Up until then, not expecting any rain, and we're not expecting any rain after that either. And this, for the most part, is going to continue. Now, obviously, there are a few small chances of rain as we look beyond just the next 7 days, but it is going to remain a little bit below normal precipitation-wise through Labor Day and possibly beyond that as well. Now, because we've seen so much rainfall lately, we're still not too concerned about drought conditions forming. Now, as we take a look at temperatures for tomorrow, maybe a few degrees warmer than today, but otherwise it's going to be very similar. with some foggy conditions early, sunshine and highs in the 70s for the afternoon. And then for Friday, it may warm up a little bit again, highs in the upper 70s to low 80s for some, but still going to see a good amount of sunshine. And then next week comes and we're almost certainly going to be below normal. You don't often see confidence this high for below or above normal temperatures, but that is the case for not just our area, but a lot of the Midwest and Great Lakes region. Now, before I show you the 10-day forecast, I do want to mention Hurricane Aaron, thankfully, is going to continue to be offshore, but it will continue to bring in some high storm surge for some of those mid-Atlantic states on the coast. But thankfully, the strongest of this hurricane is going to stay off coast. Right now, it is a Category 2 hurricane. It was a Category 5 hurricane when it impacted places further south. Now, looking back at Madison's 10-day forecast, a little bit breezy over the weekend as those temperatures drop. But yeah, upper 60s for Sunday and Monday. Every single day has been at least in the 70s since the end of May. So this is definitely the coolest air since then. And a few small chances of rain towards the end of the 10-day forecast. But really, it's just Friday night. And beyond that, we're going to remain mostly dry.
Thank you, Jacob. The Madison Reading Project is helping Dane County teachers this back-to-school season with its Classroom Kickstart campaign.
Our consumer reporter, Michelle Renee Quinn, shares how you can help.
The goal is to provide local educators with brand new books for their classroom libraries. Yesterday alone, more than 8,300 books went to teachers, and Madison Reading Project is expecting hundreds more teachers to shop through Friday. They're also joining the Clear the List movement, meaning 10 local educators nominated by you, the community, are receiving select titles chosen for their students.
We really wanted to make sure those select teachers had the exact books that they wanted. And then we still have teachers that are going to continue shopping throughout the school year. So they get to pick out at least 25 books. And there's all kinds of extra books that are at the book center as well.
The program provides brand new, diverse, hardcover books that engage students, and 4 of the 10 select teachers are complete. But there are still 6 teachers that need you to help them clear the list. You can find them, what grade they teach, and a link to their wish list attached to this story on channel3000.com.
Thank you, Michelle Renee. And if you want to help News 3 Now make sure students get the supplies they need this year, there is still time to do that. We need volunteers to help us distribute everything you donated to us during our Stuff the Bus campaign. Thank you, everyone, by the way. There are 2 Boys and Girls Club locations left that need volunteers.
They are the Allied Family Center in Fitchburg and the Mackenzie Family Boys and Girls Club in Sun Prairie. Volunteering starts at 3 and ends at 6. If you'd like to put your name down, go to channel3000.com, scroll down to In the 608, and then click on the supplies distribution story.
If you or someone you know has been having trouble getting our signal, don't worry, you're not alone.
Definitely not. News 3 Now has launched a new, better way for people to watch us, and we'll tell you all about it when we're back.
WISC-TV and Television Wisconsin have activated 2 new transmitters to help provide antenna viewers with a clearer picture of our programming.
Now, if you haven't already done so, you'll need to rescan your TV in order to receive the improved signal. Our Eric Franke shares how this investment builds on our company legacy.
At more than 1,400 feet above Madison's far west side, WISC-TV broadcasts our over-the-air signal to homes all across southern Wisconsin. But for some, it's been tough to get that signal.
We realized through an analysis and an audit of who we were reaching across our entire viewing area that we needed to strengthen our signal.
WISC's Vice President and General Manager Scott Chastain says issues like pixelation and complete signal loss top the list of common problems that will soon be going away.
We want to reach as many of our viewers in southern Wisconsin as possible.
Morgan Murphy Media, the family-owned and operated parent company of News 3 Now, invested nearly $1 million to install 2 new broadcast antennas, one on Madison's far west side and another placed on a tower northwest of Janesville. Regional Director of Engineering Michael Strebe says due to a number of technical limitations, our existing signal wasn't getting to as many people as we would like. This is especially true for people who live in large apartment buildings.
They can't put an antenna on the roof. For an example, if you're in an apartment building, you have these little flat panel antennas. Those will pick us up a lot better with the UHF signals that are going through.
Viewers who watch News 3 Now and other CBS programming over the air can now rescan their TVs to pick up the new signals. Chastain believes the project to improve the signal builds our company legacy in southern Wisconsin and positions us to better serve you, our viewers.
It shows that we're investing in this community, and it shows that we're investing in keeping people informed and keeping people safe.
Eric Franke, News 3 Now.
Now, a reminder, these improvements to our signal will only be noticed by those of you who watch us over the air. If you watch WISC-TV on cable, satellite, or streaming platforms, you do not need to make any changes at all.
Ooh, how about that?
Yeah.
Well, to rescan, just open your TV's menu, then select Settings, then choose Channel Scan or Auto Tune. And don't worry, we have all those instructions on channel3000.com/rescan.
And you can always email us if you have any questions. I've been answering a lot of email as this progresses.
Moonlighting as tech support.
Yes, exactly. That's a scary thought. Coming up on Live at 4, the gubernatorial race in Wisconsin has been underway since Governor Evers announced he would not seek a third term.
But the race for lieutenant governor is just starting to pick up now. Who's running for the office when we're back?
You're watching News 3 Now, Live at 4.
Welcome to Live at 4. The Portage police officer booked in jail has appeared in court today.
Our Maddie Heimsch brings us what he's charged with and what the judge decided from the Sauk County Courthouse.
Officer Cameron Coronado's bail is set at $10,000 after facing a Sauk County judge and charges of child and domestic abuse. According to a criminal complaint, Coronado was arrested after his wife brought their 6-month-old to the hospital and a CT scan found bleeding in the child's brain. His wife alleges Coronado forcefully shoved a pacifier down the child's throat, causing the injury. In the courtroom, the state attorney tells the judge Coronado's actions represent a pattern of behavior.
The public does need to be protected against the behavior that we see narrated in the criminal complaint. And finally, bond can be used per statute to prevent intimidation of witnesses.
The public defender asked the judge to set bail for no more than $1,000, but the judge went with the state's recommendation of $10,000, also ordering the man have no contact with his wife or children. Coronado's preliminary hearing is scheduled for September 3rd. Reporting in Sauk County, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Maddie, thank you. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic abuse, there are resources available. You can call the Domestic Abuse Intervention Hotline 24/7. It's a helpline, and if you're not comfortable calling, you can also text them at the number on the bottom of your screen.
To our weather now after a summer of intense heat, thick humidity, a lot of rain. Am I missing anything?
Yeah.
It's finally feeling pretty comfortable out there,
It's
Jacob.
going to be sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Yeah, the end of August will be kind of the opposite of how the rest of August has been dry and not nearly as warm and humid, especially for next week. And looking at the current radar, this has been the story really throughout the last 2 days where we are seeing dry conditions, and most of the Midwest is under this dry pattern as well, including a lot of the Great Lakes region on top of that. Temperatures very comfortable, middle to upper 70s, a few lower 80s for some, but for the most part, it is very comfortable. Still a little humid out there, but as the days go on where we're not seeing rain, it will get less and less humid. Now looking at the evening forecast, very comfortable, partly cloudy, becoming mostly clear with temperatures in the lower 70s to upper 60s. Overnight lows will drop to around 60 under some foggy conditions, but overall these temperatures, although they will feel cool, they are pretty close to what we normally drop down to. If anything, there's actually still a little bit above normal, but the visibility will get pretty low for Thursday morning as we'll see that fog roll in, and we could see some more fog Friday morning, but it doesn't look like we'll see quite as much as we will for Thursday morning. So really it's just kind of the fog that's the only hazard we will see. We do have one chance of rain a little bit later in the week, but that's not going to be the case for tomorrow with more sunshine and more highs in the 70s. But I'll talk about that rain chance and show you those temperatures for next week coming up a little bit later.
Thank you, Jacob. Today is the first day back for students of Abundant Life Christian School. In December, a student opened fire, killing a teacher, a student, and ultimately herself. And tomorrow, the father of the shooter will be in court again. He's charged with 2 counts of intentionally selling a dangerous weapon to a person under the age of 18 and contributing to child delinquency. A criminal complaint alleges Jeffrey Ruppnow gave his daughter access to guns despite knowing about her mental health issues. Earlier this week, his attorneys requested to have that complaint dismissed.
A Fort Atkinson family of 4 is without a home and several of their pets after a fire last night. Crews responded to Harriet Street at 10:44 and found the garage fully engulfed in flames. The family and 2 people who were staying with them made it out safely, and there were no reported injuries. But the fire department says at least 4 dogs and 4 cats died in the fire. Both the garage and the home are a total loss. The Red Cross is helping the family.
A familiar face is entering the race for next fall.
The one-time state treasurer, now Secretary of State, Sarah Godlewski, announced her bid today to run once again for statewide office. Political reporter Will Keneally has the latest.
Now, Godlewski is the first Democrat to announce a run for that seat. Now, she started her political career fighting back a constitutional amendment to get rid of the office of state treasurer, the job that she would later go on to hold. Now, since then, she ran in the Democratic primary for U.S. Senate and is now taking the step for lieutenant governor. And we asked her about her decision to seek this new role.
I'm hearing how people are being priced out of their homes. Nurses are working 2 to 3 jobs just to stay afloat. And I can't change that as Secretary of State. That's why I think this role for me is the best, being that partner that can position myself to best help solve these critical challenges here in Wisconsin.
Godlewski made the announcement at the Madison Labor Temple with the backing of a couple of state lawmakers and the first woman to hold that office, former Lieutenant Governor Barbara Lawton. Now, Godlewski is running to replace the current Lieutenant Governor, Sarah Rodriguez. Rodriguez is the first major Democrat to announce her run for the top job of governor.
Thank you, Will. A local competition will send a business owner to Silicon Valley for a pitch in the fall.
We'll sit down with the winner of the pressure chamber pitch competition a little later on Live at 4.
And the next few days might be the nicest stretch of weather that we've seen all summer, but we still might get a little bit of fog. Jacob Montesano will show us in his forecast.
And our senior Packers writer Jason Wilde gives us the downside of joint practices ahead of the Packers' session with the Seahawks. That's still to come.
Typical Wednesday because we have another exciting round of Packers training camp coverage.
Our senior Packers writer Jason Wilde is in Green Bay with what happened today.
Packers coach Matt LaFleur loves joint practices. He feels like they're very productive. He feels good about what the Packers got done with the Colts last Thursday. He's looking forward to what his team will get done with the Seattle Seahawks tomorrow. The one thing Matt LaFleur doesn't like about joint practices are the fights that sometimes crop up, the skirmishes that usually come from a little too intense of one-on-one work, whether it's wide receivers against cornerbacks or offensive linemen versus defensive linemen. But they did those drills in Indianapolis, and Matt LaFleur was impressed, so he's going to do them again with the Seahawks. Now, buyer beware, because that could lead to a fight or two, but Matt LaFleur has made the call, and we will see what happens in those one-on-ones during practice tomorrow, and we will have full coverage of the joint practice with the Seahawks on channel3000.com for free. And don't forget, while you're there, sign up for our Packers newsletter, which gets you our Packers coverage delivered to your inbox every single day. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Jason, thank you. Still ahead, we sit down with the winner of a local competition who now gets to pitch to Silicon Valley investors.
And later, Josh Sprider has your weekend planner a little early in the 608.
Will take a trip to Silicon Valley to pitch to investors this fall.
Strudel won the Chamber of Commerce's Pressure Chamber pitch competition yesterday. Joining us now is Strudel's CEO and co-founder, Kristen Isaac. Hello.
Congratulations, Kristen.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So this isn't a baked good, Strudel, but could you tell us what does it do?
Yes. So think about a time that technology ruined your day.
Well.
And what Strudel does is fix this problem for software companies, because software companies experience this pain every day with their customers, sometimes hundreds or thousands of times a day. And the people who bear the brunt of this often are the software engineers at those companies. They have to take in manually a whole bunch of different data sources to evaluate the problem, create a hypothesis, and eventually fix it. And so what Strudel is doing with AI is automating the process of...
You're in demand.
Your mom is calling. I see you
my
on
mom's
TV.
calling. I see you. It's like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I'm at school, Mom. Yeah, we're automating the process of taking in all those manual data sources and automating it in order to save the engineers 50 50 to 65% of their time.
Amazing. There is a reason they call this the pressure chamber.
Yes.
There were 5 finalists this year. You had to get up in front of the packed Sylvie. I understand there were more people this year than in many recent years. What was the competition like?
It was incredible. Yeah, I really didn't expect us to win. The competition was so strong. There were just incredible leaders, amazing companies that they were building, and we really formed a bond as a cohort together. And it was just such an incredible honor to win the competition, given the high level of that competition.
You got 5 minutes to make your presentation to everybody there.
Yeah.
I understand that you pretended there was a technical problem at the Sylvie that Strudel could fix.
Right. That's right.
That's brilliant.
Yes. Technical problem at the Sylvie that, and they were using PayPal to take in payments for the concert that night, and the payment link crashed. So in that
idea.
Night of a concert. So in that example, the Sylvie could lose $30,000 in ticket sales. PayPal could lose a customer because their Sylvie's pretty unhappy that happens. And of course, the engineer could have to pull an all-nighter to fix it.
And did you ever get any questions, or have you had to answer this before, where a lot of people are concerned about AI replacing workers, et cetera? What would you say to that, and how do you address to those concerns?
Absolutely. Yeah, we think about AI as a way to empower employees to do the things that they love best and that they're really passionate about, and take away the most annoying and painful parts of work. And so where Strudel comes in is with software engineers, and they don't want to be doing technical support. They want to be building new features. And so what we're doing is taking away these painful manual pieces of work that they have to do outside of their core job to fix these technical support issues, so that they can spend more time building amazing new features for the future of the business instead of fixing technical support issues.
So, and going to Silicon Valley, it's like a real life Shark Tank.
It is. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Yeah.
And what would that mean to you to have investors invest in Strudel? It could be, I mean, it's exciting to think where it could go.
Yes, and we are mid-fundraise. We've raised $300,000 already towards our $500,000 goal, and already after Pressure Chamber, we got maybe a little bit closer to $400,000, I'd say, which was great. So this is incredible exposure for us here in Madison, and of course in Silicon Valley as well. But I would start here and say I feel the Madison ecosystem for startups really punches above its weight. You know, we really have an incredible community here. The Chamber of Commerce does a fantastic job with Pressure Chamber. There are a ton of people that are active in the startup community in different ways that startups are supported here. And we're just really grateful for the opportunity and to be building a software company here in Madison.
Yeah, well, very good, and congratulations and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Inspiring. Yes, keep in touch with us. We'll be able to say we knew Strudel when.
I know, look at that.
Very beginning.
Come see us again.
Congratulations.
Sounds good. Thanks so much.
Well, we've been talking about a pressure cooker. It does not feel like a pressure cooker outside, thankfully. It's pretty comfortable.
Yeah, and those comfortable temperatures are going to continue. If we look at the 3 things you need to know, it actually will get fall-like for next week. But we are going to continue to see a few foggy mornings the next couple of days, and our only chance of rain will come Friday night. But the good news is that it's mostly going to occur during the overnight hours, and overall not going to produce a lot of rainfall overall. Now, looking at the precipitation forecast until then, just a few on and off clouds, but really no chance of rain until we get to that Friday night time frame. And as I mentioned, it's really going to move in after sunset, bring in a few showers and storms. Unclear if we will see severe weather, but the severe weather risk does look to be pretty low. And then it will clear out by sunrise Saturday with more sunshine during the day on Saturday and really continuing throughout the entire weekend. So looking overall at the precipitation chances for the next 7 days, it's really just Friday. Beyond that, expect very dry conditions. And those dry conditions are going to continue for the most part over the next 8 to 14 day. Looking at that outlook, it does suggest below normal precipitation for our area. Now, it looks like we could see a little bit of rainfall during this time frame, but right now, nothing looks to be too significant, and that's really just the story going forward for now. As we take a look at the temperatures for tomorrow, highs will be in the middle to upper 70s, a good amount of cloud cover at times, but again, staying dry. For Friday, similar conditions. We are going to see clouds increase throughout the day, highs near 80, and it does look like Friday might be the warmest day over the next 10, because looking at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, we're expecting easily below normal temperatures. You don't often see the confidence this high for below normal temperatures, especially over this wide of a region, but that is going to be the story for next week. And looking at those temperatures specifically, they may only be in the upper 60s, and the average high is still 80 this time of the year. It will be in the upper 70s very soon, and next week we're going to not even get to the lower 70s. And we haven't seen highs this cool since May. So this is really our first taste of fall. And although those temperatures are going to warm up a little bit for the middle of next week, they're still going to pretty easily be below normal, with overall very dry conditions continuing.
In the 608, if you're having the Wednesday blues, we are already working for the weekend.
It helps to think that it's coming. Josh Spreiter is here with the weekend planner for your family.
It is the last weekend before Labor Day, so we have a lot we want to do as summer is winding down. Here are my 3 things to do this weekend in the 608. Happening all weekend long, beginning Friday, it is the Good Neighbor Festival in Middleton. This is on the grounds of the Middleton High School. Grab your friends and family and make plans for the 3-day festival featuring live music, family activities, an art and craft fair, a 5K run walk, and 2 parades. The fun in the Good Neighbor City ends Sunday. That parade begins at noon, led by the heroes from the Middleton VFW, first responders, and the 2025 Parade Marshal. On Saturday, the 5th annual car show returns to Main Street in Cottage Grove to raise money and awareness for the UW Carbone Cancer Center. Take the whole family to the Grass Park to see hundreds of the area's coolest cars and enjoy food and refreshments on site along with the ice cream trucks. The show is free to enter and all vehicle types are welcome. It runs 10 to 4. Then on Sunday, it's Paul Palooza 2025 in Verona. This is the main fundraising event for Paul's Party. Paul Palooza is a super fun grassroots fundraiser featuring live music, food, drinks, and fundraising at the brewery to remember Paul Natsky. There are several ways to get involved. The event runs 10 to 5 at Wisconsin Brewing Company. You can find more happenings this weekend in the 608 by going to channel3000.com. In the 608, Josh Spreiter, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Josh. A lot of fun things going on.
Yeah, and we're kind of on autopilot in the weather.
Yeah, I mean, we are in a perfect storm of just beautiful conditions because we're going to be completely dry and we're not worrying about the drought, at least not yet, because we've seen so much rainfall lately, and the temperatures are going to be perfect, especially if you like some cooler temperatures, because we haven't seen them in months. Upper 60s, and as I mentioned earlier, the last time we had a high not in the 70s, 80s, or 90s was late May, so that might be the first day. Will be a little bit breezy, which might make it feel even cooler, but overall, I mean, it's really hard to complain about this forecast. Will warm up a little bit for the middle of next week, but still being dry, still remaining dry, and still remaining below normal. Might see some light precipitation over the weekend for Labor Day, and Friday night's really the only chance of rain.
Looks good. Thank you, Jacob.
Tomorrow on Live at 4, Madison Magazine's editor-in-chief stops by to talk about what readers can expect in the upcoming edition. And coming up on News 3 Now at 5, Ellie La Liberté did the math and shows us how much a proposed back-to-school tax holiday could actually save parents. Well, thanks for watching Live at 4 today. We hope to see you back here, same time, same place tomorrow. You can find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.